Hey Browns fans, welcome to Browns All Access with Hugh Jackson, Nathan Zegura alongside Bernie Kosar. And Bernie, it's like a new incarnation of the Cardiac Kids. The Browns go to their fourth overtime game of the year, but again, fall short to the Buccaneers. What did you see on Sunday in Tampa?
Well, I think to start out with, and not to be an apologist for the offense or for the starting out of the games, but when Tampa Bay, when you have Mike Smith, the defensive coordinator, being replaced like he was, and you have a new defensive coordinator stepping in, you have a new scheme, you have new tendencies, so it's a little bit of an adjustment period, which I do think the Browns adjusted well to. That being said, it has been a slow start the whole season. And how do you get guys making plays early in the game? You see Todd Haley maneuvering with personnel groups, with formations, with motions and shifts, but somehow, some way, guys are going to have to create more separation, I think, down the field from the receiver standpoint to make those plays.
Yeah, you got to get going. These are your scripted plays. Now, one thing to keep in mind, the Browns offense is starting a rookie at quarterback, a rookie at left tackle, a rookie at running back, a rookie at wide receiver. And Bernie, you don't have your quarterback, running back, or wide receiver one from week one when you played the Steelers. Tyrod Taylor not starting. Carlos Hyde and Josh Gordon both have been traded. Now, one thing, though, has been constant, and that's this defense leading the league in takeaways, 4 more on Sunday, doing everything they can to help this team win.
No doubt about it. Defensively has been kind of the glue. I think that's been the reason we're able to be in these games, get to 4 overtime games like this. And if you remember from the first game against the Steelers, we were able to rush just 4 guys and drop 7 in the back end and have really good success against Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers like that. That's been a theme throughout the whole season, and if we could continue with defensively getting the turnovers with rushing just 4 guys, that's going to bode well, I think, for the back end of the season.
Absolutely, and you saw some good rushing in this game up front. Myles Garrett, a couple of sacks. Emmanuel Ogbah, I thought, had one of his best games. Let's take a look at Ogbah and even a little offensive spark in our film breakdown brought to you by Papa John's. All right, Coach, let's take a look at some of the big plays at the end of this game that forced it into overtime against Tampa. We'll start on defense.
Okay.
3rd and 2 at the 9. Got to get off the field. What happens here?
Well, you just said it. It's 3rd and 2 at the 9 in the fourth quarter, and we have to get off the field. And I thought, obviously Greg comes up with a lot of different packages for our players. And we put Emmanuel down inside at times to rush against, guards. As you can see him there, he drives this guy back off the ball. The quarterback flushes a little bit, but he gets separation, and right there he's able to close and take the quarterback down. I think that's a heck of a play by him.
It is a great job, and sometimes they say coverage and pass rush go hand in hand.
Yes, they do.
Great job against those that mesh concept.
It all starts, with the rush, but it also starts with the coverage. I mean, these guys, as you can see, we got these guys kind of mirrored, so the quarterback really doesn't have a place to throw it. This game, he had found some seams running the ball, getting up the field. But again, Emmanuel made a heck of a play right there, getting off the block and finishing the tackle.
And this is a great 3-play sequence. So we had that, then the punt, Jabril with the big punt return. Now you're set up first and 10 at the 16 of the Buccaneers. Only needed 1 play.
Absolutely.
Let's take a look.
I think, again, the offensive staff did a great job. We were going to take a shot here. We knew they'd be in a 2-shell. We're trying to get David and Jarvis down the middle of the field. As you can see, David's kind of hooking in there. Jarvis is hooking in there. So the quarterback's just taught to play off the safety. The safety's over here. We get to throw this thing in here to Jarvis. What a catch. But it was really interesting because when it happened the way it happened, I seen him scrambling on the ground. I thought maybe he had dropped the ball. I wasn't for sure that he caught it. What he was trying to do is get the ball across the goal line for a touchdown. And, boy, what a play by him to make the catch, have enough awareness to understand nobody's around me to touch me. Let me make sure I finish this thing in the end zone for a touchdown.
Yeah, it was a great play, and we look from the end zone view. And as you see, he's about to release the ball. That's kind of what you want for your quarterback, right?
That's the pocket.
That's the pocket.
That's the pocket we need. And, again, a lot of credit to these guys. Desmond's doing a great job on one of the premier pass rushers in all of pro football. These guys are handling their business, from Joel Bitonio all the way back to Chris Hubbard. They did a heck of a job to give Baker that opportunity to throw that ball in there.
All right, Bernie, there you see Jarvis Landry making a big play in a big moment. And that was the theme in this game. You had Jamie Collins with the interception in overtime, Landry there. But what I loved about it, the football IQ, knowing to go out there, reach out. What does that say to the young guys on this team?
I think not only to the young guys, but all guys on the team, and definitely all younger players that are watching and younger coaches, the attention to detail, the ability to have that expertise of not just making the catch like he did, first and foremost as a receiver, make the play, make the catch, but then knowing the rules, knowing that he hasn't been touched down, the ability to be able to put it across the line of scrimmage, the goal line like that, shows you that that's the type of player you want leading your team.
Absolutely. A great game from Jarvis Landry. You can see the chemistry between Baker Mayfield and Jarvis Landry grow as he came up with some big plays in big moments. And speaking of big, we'll be back with more of Browns All Access with Hugh Jackson next. After the break, Browns linebacker Genard Avery was mic'd up for his first start.
Yeah!
And Christian Kirksey sits down with our Andrew Gribble.
You know, this team will be ready to go against Pittsburgh. It's always ramping it up a notch once we go against Pittsburgh, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Welcome back to Browns All Access with Hugh Jackson, Nathan Zegura, alongside the man who needs no introduction, Bernie Kosar. And Bernie, the Browns rookies on offense showed some promise late in that game. The Browns rookies on defense also delivering. Denzel Ward's been all world since the Browns selected him 4th overall. But a 5th-round pick, Genard Avery, has really stood out as a pass rusher and had to start at linebacker this week with Schobert out. 2 tackles, a quarterback hit, and even recovered a fumble leading directly to a Browns touchdown. What did you see from the young man from Memphis?
Well, there's no question we love watching him as the 5th-round pick. He started out the year primarily just as a pass rusher and got noticed like that and did a fantastic job pass rushing and on special teams. Now making that move to linebacker, how is he able to kind of handle the overall concept of the scheme and being able not just to rush the quarterback, not just to rush, but able to drop back in coverage and kind of handle all the different assignments that go with being a well-rounded linebacker.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the big tests for Genard Avery. I think he passed it with flying colors, looked very comfortable dropping into coverage, and we'll likely see more of that as Joe Schobert continues to work his way back from that injury. Now, I think it's time for you to get to know Genard Avery a little more in our Player Spotlight, brought to you by Fifth Third Bank.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into sunny Tampa, Florida. Today, Genard Avery will go to the outside, the rookie from Memphis.
My first start, I think it went well. The speed of the game was much faster and stuff, but I was prepared. You know, a lot of people try to make it more than what it is. It's, you know, just like, you know, Jamie Collins and Kirko always tell me, you know, it's just, it's football. It's what you've been playing since you was young. So, you know, I kept that in my mind. Let's do it again, let's do it again. Dripping on the regular. Dripping on the regular. You know that song?
And the Buccaneers will start at their own 1-yard line. Here's the give, and it goes. And Barber got hit in the end zone. And he got up, got the ball over the goal line. And they're going to give him just an inch over the goal line as the Browns blew the play up.
The field is that the runner's forward progress made it into the field of play. It's 2nd down.
You know, I had a great week at practice, and I was prepared for the plays that came at me and whatnot, and I was so confident. Plus, when you communicate on the field, man, and everybody communicating with you, everybody feels confident. That's just how it is.
Here's the give. It goes to Barber, and he goes over the right side. He got nailed in the corner of the end zone. It's a safety. As the Browns stuff him on the right side, Myles Garrett ends up without a helmet, and the whole right side of that defense makes it 2-0 Browns.
Yeah. Get it! Yeah, let me see that last one. Let me see that last one. I got you.
It was a great job. I mean, you saw it coming, you blitzed, and knocked it back right there.
You turnover bad, man. I got you. I got you.
Takes the snap, drops to throw, pressure coming. You got hit as he threw. The ball is out, and it is scooped up by the rookie Genard Avery. And the Browns defense has come up with 3 turnovers today, Doug.
Yeah! Yeah!
Hey, really? What happened? Big head can't lean over. Lean that thing back so you get the balance.
I was making sure I got the ball.
You had the ball. You had the ball. big head down there, you couldn't get that big head up. Get that thing up, man. Look like damn
Go
good
through my thumb.
It ain't the hair weighing your ass down.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Come on! Yeah, it was a decent game, man. You know, it was plays. You know, I made a lot of mistakes and I made a lot of great plays and whatnot. But it was a great experience being a starter and making the plays that you're supposed to make and having fun with the players. It was a great experience. And so I exchanged jerseys with Alan Krause. He's a guy. He played at Memphis, man. He was tight end at Memphis and like a brother to me. He ended up coming to me and when I met on the 50, ended up hugging each other. And I can remember him saying back when we was at Memphis, you know, we're gonna be either on the same team or switching jerseys. And we seen each other and we said, man, it really came true.
What's up? I'm Allie Raymond, and this is your Social Minute where we show you the best of what happened on social media this week. Starting with Jarvis Landry and his trip to LeBron James' I Promise School in Akron, Ohio. Jarvis toured the building, met with some kids, and spoke to the kids about the importance of staying in school.
This is something that I know a lot of kids around the world need.
Last Sunday in Tampa, a few fans showed up to our Buccaneers game in full-on Baker-themed gear. Chef hat, apron, to the nines, to cheer on their QB1. This season, we've definitely seen an uptick in chef-inspired wear at our games, so make sure if you come to a game dressed as a baker, send us a picture at @Brown so we can see it. Lastly, the Cleveland Natural History Museum posted this video of Linda the possum this week. We see that Linda is getting fit and ready for our next home game on November 4th against the Chiefs. I'm Allie Raymond, and this was your Social Minute.
Next, it's our exclusive one-on-one interview with the leader of the Junkyard Dogs, linebacker Christian Kirksey, and head coach Hugh Jackson breaks down this week's matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome back to Browns All Access with Hugh Jackson, Nathan Zegura, Bernie Kosar, and Bernie. They say the NFL's a next man up mentality. Well, Christian Kirksey had been a starter, played every snap last year, but had to slide into that all-important middle linebacker role. I thought had just a phenomenal game in the middle of that defense against the Bucs.
I think that's the mark of a fantastic player, and when it's a reoccurring theme that he keeps coming up on the show. Throughout the course of preseason, the first half of the season, now we're getting into basically the halfway point of the year. Christian Kirksey, somehow, some way, each and every week, no matter what position he's playing at, not only does he make a couple of plays, he's making defining plays for us.
And now Christian Kirksey sits down with our sir Andrew Gribble for an exclusive one-on-one interview.
I'm Andrew Gribble here with linebacker Christian Kirksey. And Christian, I know you've got the pulse of this team as well as anyone as the captain of this group. How would you say the team's mindset is after another tough loss like that in Tampa?
Well, it's interesting because I was just talking to my teammates earlier today. We're sitting at 2-4-1, but we haven't lost the division. And, you know, when you still have the Steelers, then we still have, you know, the Ravens one more time and Cincinnati twice, you know, all our goals are still in front of us. I'm a guy that's super optimistic, and I think that, you know, every game is winnable. So from this point on, it's like, all right, let's set a new goal, and that's, you know, 11-4-1.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that this mindset of this team is, okay, we're just trying to find a way to get over that hump and find a way to, you know, finish ball games. You know, being 4 games overtime, and, you know, that's a lot of wear and tear on your body. But it just goes to show you the fight in this team and the fight in these men in this room.
He takes a high snap. Winston throws right down the middle, and that is picked off. Christian Kirksey is second of the year, and in as many weeks.
You mentioned the wear and tear. The defense played a season-high 95 plays in Tampa in the hot sun. You guys have had a lot of games with a lot of plays. How are you feeling physically, and how do you see guys holding up through all this?
Well, as a professional, you know, you got to, you know, stay in the training room. Not for, you know, injuries or anything, just, you know, stand on top of your body, you know, maintenance with your body. So, you know, I feel good. I'm used to it. You know, I've played numerous snaps, you know, through my career to where, Defense is always on the field, so my body is kind of adjust to it. And you just got to carry yourself as a professional.
Be at our best, nothing less. We winning this week, man. Hey, it's still this week. We got to go harder, man. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Work.
You mentioned earlier the division. You guys are still in the thick of it. You got a big one this week in Pittsburgh. First time you guys are going to be facing an opponent for the second time in a year. What kind of advantages is it for a defense, and how much confidence do you guys have from how you played week 1 against them?
Well, for week 1, we really was going off of preseason film and, last year's film that we're playing them. And now going and playing them in the second time, we know who they are. We have a lot of games that we can watch that they played this year. So now we can say, okay, they do this, they do that. And we know they're key players that they go to. And like you said, we already tied them for the first game. So now we really can go in and master our game plan, because we know, okay, this is what they did to us last time. This is what hurt us in the game last time. This is probably what they're going to go to from last time that worked for them. So now we can really game plan and really see, all right, how can we attack this team? So I'll be ready. This team will be ready to go against Pittsburgh. It's always ramming it up a notch once we go against Pittsburgh, so it'll be a lot of fun.
You see Christian Kirksey leading with his play on the field, but also a leader in the huddle, gets these junkyard dogs fired up. What have you seen from him just in his development as really the guy to kind of galvanize this defense?
Well, in the junkyard dog mentality, it's one thing when you're talking a game and you're the vocal leader of it. But what really makes it extra special is when you're doing a lot of that talking, that his play backs it up. And he's making big plays and backing up that leadership talk. And that's what I really get impressed with, is seeing him game in and game out making a defining game-winning play.
Yeah, he's had his hand in 3 takeaways in the last 2 games alone. The Browns defense taking the ball away 20 times this year, most in the NFL. Now don't you go away, because we'll be back with more of Browns All Access with Hugh Jackson. The Browns tied a franchise record by playing their 4th overtime game this year. What other year did the team also play in 4 overtime games in the regular season? Was it A, 1980, B, 1989, C, 1994, or D, 2002? Find out the answer when Browns All Access returns. The Browns tied a franchise record by playing in their 4th overtime game this year on Sunday against Tampa. Now, what other year did the team also play in 4 overtime games in the regular season? The answer is B, 1989. The 1989 Browns went to overtime 4 times, winning against the Vikings, losing to the Colts and Dolphins, and tying with the Chiefs. Welcome back to Browns All Access. Nathan Zegura, Bernie Kosar. Bernie, it's Steeler week again. The Steelers coming in fresh off of their bye. They've won 2 in a row, 3 of the last 4, although they've had some struggles at home. But, you think about a season, they're 6 games in. What kind of evolves from when we saw them in week 1?
Well, one of the things I think needs to evolve is in week 1, Ben Roethlisberger and their Pittsburgh offense, they really struggled against our defense. Definitely, we love to see that happen again this week.
Absolutely will, and this defense is going to have to continue to step up shorthanded. We saw what Christian Kirksey did. Demarius Randall moved to cornerback last week and played very well. Breanne Body Calhoun at free safety. They're going to have their hands full with this Steelers offense, and I'm going to talk with head coach Hugh Jackson about what to expect on Sunday when the Browns and the Steelers face off for the second time in 2018. All right, Coach, Steelers for the second time this year on Sunday. It was a tie back in week 1. Now they're a different team. So are the Browns. Your 3 touchdown scorers in week 1 were Tyrod, Carlos Hyde, Josh Gordon.
Yeah.
So it's a different offense you're bringing in against the Steelers.
No, it is. I kind of saw that myself just watching the tape. We have different cast of characters playing positions now, starting with Baker. And obviously, Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson's our backs now, and we've moved on at receiver. I just think, again, it's going to be a tremendous game. It's a division game against Pittsburgh. It's in their stadium. We're going to take a great team up there and go play some really good football.
What's the biggest difference you see when you watch the Steelers tape now compared to when you watched our week 1 game against them?
Well, I think when you think back to week 1, I think what our team did real well was take the ball away from them. And I think the majority of their turnovers really came in our game. He has 6 total interceptions on the year, and 4 of them came in our game. And so I think they've done a better job of not turning the ball over. they're still scoring points. They're still a dangerous football team. They're still a really good defensive football team. We understand the mission at hand. We just got to go do what we do.
So taking the ball away, you did that week one. That's been something that's continued all year long. From a defensive standpoint, how do you slow down a team, though, that's got the two great receivers? Their tight ends have been unbelievably productive, and then obviously what Connor's doing at running back.
Well, I think what's really important is that, again, we play fundamental football. You know, we play within the scheme that Greg has and the rest of the assistant coaches has designed for this week's game plan. We got to know them inside and out and know exactly what their tendencies are so we can play fast and make sure that we're playing with urgency at all times. Obviously, you just mentioned they have a lot of weapons. You know, we need to slow them down. You're not going to necessarily take them all out of the game, but we got to slow them down and not let them create big plays that way.
Bernie, this is going to be a tough one. We're going over there to Heinz Field. The Steelers have played very well there against the Browns for quite some time now. What must this team do to go out there and get a win on Sunday?
Well, first and foremost, I think offensively, we see that the Pittsburgh defense, they have buttoned up some of the issues they had on the back end. They had some big voids early in the year, some big plays in that intermediate passing game, that 15 to 25 yards downfield. Even though they've buttoned that up a little bit, I'd like us to kind of try to attack that and go after it like we showed on the Jarvis Landry touchdown last week down in Tampa.
I certainly would like to see that. A quick start on offense, special teams continuing its recent strong play, and then this defense bending but not breaking against an excellent offense with Ben, with Connor, with Brown, and of course Juju Smith-Schuster in the mix for that Steelers team. Remember, for all the latest on your Cleveland Browns, subscribe to all of our social media channels, download the Browns app, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and of course for the very latest on this man, check out Kosar19.com. It's a big one, the Browns and the Steelers. Thanks for watching Browns All Access with Hugh Jackson, and let's go Browns.